Hello, everyone. Let me ask each and every one of you a question. What happens if a person builds an incredible invention, but that person never gets credit for that wonderful invention, for designing it? What if history never records the blood, sweat, and tears that person spent creating it? To me, that's disrespectful to the inventor. But moreover, it is erasing the proof of the designer or the design itself. Computer science majors like me study different kinds of systems. We computer programmers understand that you have to have a blueprint because whenever you take away that blueprint or you're outright thrown out or avoided, then everything begins to unravel. My hope is to shine a little sunlight into some closed minds. To be fair, there may be some of you who are already in agreement, but wouldn't hurt to enlighten you even more. There are a lot of lost blueprints that unfortunately have been hidden from society. You may have heard of the steam powered propeller boats, what we call them steamboats. The sad thing is that you probably never heard of Benjamin Montgomery, an American inventor who was enslaved and was not allowed to get his patent just because of the color of his skin. Revon Boucher, who wrote Black Inventors in the Age of Segregation, tells how this is not an isolated case. History books conveniently have left out people like Granville T. Woods and Lewis Latimer, who helped shape the modern world. In the book The Color of Creatorship, written by Anjali Vats, she talks about how black creators were kept from being able to get patents due to the structure of the patent laws at that time. There were many hidden inventors that were brought to the surface in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's book, What Color is My World? I believe that the legal scholar Shantavia Johnson says it best when she said that our current patent system still reflects that bias. Not only these creators, not allowing the creators to have their names recognized is also not allowing the proof of design. When 3 billion base pairs were mapped in the Human Genome Project, that did not reflect to me as being chaos, but absolute structure. In The Language of the Genes by Steve Jones, it talks about DNA as a language. And we refer to different types of coding as languages. The reference of DNA being code and a manual was mentioned by Matt Ridley and James Watson. DNA works just like software in computer programming. You get errors in computer programming only when something was supposed to work in the first place. Where does oxygen come from? From trees, of course. And we have a even give and take. We give the oxygen, we give the CO2, and they give us the oxygen. So that's called a closed loop design. The Hidden Life of Trees by Wohlleben mentions trees communicate with each other and how they also take care of one another by using their roots. There is a warning given by Elizabeth Kolbert in her book, The Sixth Extinction. If one species is removed, then the whole ecosystem comes crashing down. That doesn't sound like randomness to me. That sounds like interconnected structure, doesn't it? When David Wallace Wells, along with Grotzinger and Jordan, describe how the Earth can react to CO2, it's just like when we supply a computer program with input. If a variable is too heavy on one side or the other, then there is stabilization. There is no guessing with the climate because it follows logic, leaving behind another blueprint. In The Golden Ratio by Mario Livio, he talks about shells, sunflowers, and even galaxies. There is repetition of those patterns over and over again. In Mathematics and the Search for Knowledge by Morris Klein, he mathematically proves that math is embedded into the fabric of nature. The grand design of all names, the grand design, and of all names, that person is Stephen Hawking, who chose for his book. He talks about how the laws of physics allow the universe to create itself. But even with a bit of sarcasm, he was still saying that there is structure. The fact that he agreed there are rules and laws in science means it's not random. Design in Nature, written by Adrian Bajan, supports the constructural law and explains it by saying there is evolving within systems to improve flow. It is always seeking structure and efficiency. Did you guys know that we stopped teaching cursive in school? Did you know that in a lot of schools they have also stopped memorizing multiplication tables? We're not that far off from needing cursive translators just to read the Constitution. The amount of money we spend on education does not reflect in the rankings. We are near the bottom of the scale. It is not a money issue, it's a structure issue with no blueprint to use as a guide. If a person takes a test with true and false questions and they use their truth and not the material, then they fail the test. Will that change the grade? No. No, it won't. Because when you lose that structure, it all falls apart. Haven't we all refused to ask for directions when driving somewhere until we get tired of being lost? Have you ever used a GPS? And it's fine most of the time. But without an internet connection, it can get you off track. And we still need the original blueprint called a map. Let me ask you a question. What would you do if the power shut off today? Would you know how to survive? Do you know how to cook, fish, or hunt for survival? There would be chaos at first, but there would be someone who would take that leadership role and rebuild. The reason why is even if everything falls apart, the blueprint seems to always find its way home. Before we end the discussion, I want to leave you with one final thought. It is okay if you don't believe everything I have said. But I hope that this seed was planted in your mind. Truth is structure. Life has blueprints. And when we throw them away, we end up lost. But the blueprints, like I said before, always finds its way home.